Not gonna lie, this year has been kind of interesting for Dart Blaster releases because not only is Hasbro up to being Hasbro, but quite a few of the Dart Zone releases have had a rocky start, and it's kind of making me scared. I ain't gonna pull no punches. This is the one I'm the most excited about, and I'm gonna be heartbroken if it doesn't work flawlessly. The Dart Zone Max Tomcat. This was sent to me by Dart Zone, so I don't have a pretty box, but you can imagine all sorts of cool graphics on this. But it does say, Ultimate Super Drum Dart Blaster 58-piece set. It's 50 of those is the darts it comes with. Yeah, the Tomcat. You may be thinking of something like this, or like this. I'm thinking of something like this. Yeah, that's right, audio-only listeners. I know you exist, and that was a visual gag, so, too bad. So, of course, Dart Zone, you now have to make a Jerry the Mouse Blaster. Yeah, Ultimate Super Drum. That's a good way of putting this one, because it's, basically the Dart Zone Super Drum Magnum, but for short darts. And money shot. So, we get 50 Dart Zone Max darts, which are really good alternatives to Adventure Force Pro darts. We got a 50-round drum. We got a muzzle. We've got safety glasses, which are a pretty good thing to include in your blasters now. Thank you very much, Dart Zone. We got some sights, we've got a stock, and we've got the Tomcat itself. Now, this blaster does retail for a rather hefty $69.95 US. Also, there's absolutely no reason why you couldn't make that mag fed. That is, yeah, I'm sure somebody will make this mag fed too. It would, yeah, this is gonna get mag fed immediately. Oh, they're even branded with Dart Zone that's cool. And they fit okay. They might even work with glasses a little bit. Okay, these are a lot better than the goggles. The goggles just fog up. Wow, they did it. They actually made a really, really comfortable grip. It's that little bit of contour inwards at the top of the grip. It's a little too thin, but if you have smaller hands than me, that's gonna be good. And that's a hefty prime, which is probably why they gave you the vertical foregrip, which I'm not a biggest fan of, but that's some good blasting right there. Look how big it's for, oh my god, I'm getting excited. The stock looks like, yes, it has a cheek rest piece on Picatinny. There's Picatinny on the stock. It is also adjustable, and it is solid. Okay, it's mostly solid. I have to hit it pretty hard for basically splitting the plastic. It's gonna be fine. And it's an end strike style attachment point. Of course, because it's using that end strike stock, the stock itself is a little wobbly and a little bendy, but that's actually a problem with the connector and not the blaster itself. It's not nearly as bad as the Dart Zone Pro 1.2, which I have done a video on. You can find it right over here in the top right corner. And hey, I mean, getting pretty close to 200,000 subs, and I want to do something special for 200,000 subs. So if you could, please like, subscribe. I know over 50% of you aren't subscribed, but you still watch my videos. So please, make it today. You hit that red button, and I have something special planned for 200,000 subscribers. And it uses the same exact pusher system that the Deuce Pro does, which is a pretty effective pusher system. I like how minimalist it is, to be perfectly honest. There's no weird, dumb decals. It's just complete function in a brick. Doesn't have slamfire. It does have slamfire. Granted, you're gonna get really tired really quick because that is a lot of priming force, but oh, and it just has one big Picatinny rail up at the, oh man. Oh, this is good. Please work okay. So the drum itself has holes there. Again, it's very similar to the Deuce Pro. There's a little plastic retention thing, but otherwise the darts just slide in there, which means if you have worn darts, they might fall out. So what that means is that this thing is actually super easy to reload on the fly, at least for the internal drums, which is important because that's going to be the next shot that you're going to get out of the blaster. So in the heat of the moment, without having to reload the entire drum, you can very easily just reload. That is, I've waited so long for like an off-the-shelf blaster that does that kind of thing, because I love rear-loading drums, but most of the time that's community-driven, and it's a little difficult with Springer blasters, because of course, the ceiling barrel is usually part of the cylinder. But with the Tomcat, that's not the thing, so this works flawlessly, which makes me wish the Deuce Pro was basically like that from the get-go. It doesn't freely rotate, so of course you do have to have it primed back so the pusher isn't blocking it, but that works flawlessly, at least for the inner ring. Insert a dart into each chamber and then load a second dart on top by pushing the dart in tail first and then bending the tip slightly to fit into the chamber, as per the actual instructions. All right, it's not quick, but that works, Dart Zone, because of course the dart head takes all of the force at that point, so you're not actually ruining the foam. Fully loaded, I'm kind of excited. All right, so first shot. She had some pop, and to commemorate the fact that the Tomcat seems pretty good, I'm gonna fire this 49 more times, and we're gonna see if it could properly fire all 49 darts. So, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 38, 49, 40, 8, 49, 50. So we had, it looks like 4 darts, all in basically the same spot, that did not fire. She might just need some breaking in though, but so far so good, and it absolutely turned the moving blanket in front of me into Swiss cheese. 149, 176, 169, 156, 158. Oh, I want to hit the side of the chronograph. 166, 140, and 175. All right, indoor range test. I've got the target set up down there. I've got an optic instead of the iron sights. This test is just to put the dot on the target, same spot every single time. That way we can see kind of objectionably if it has any kind of good accuracy to it without minimal human error. This does not have any kind of scar muzzle at the end of it, so it's just what it is out of the box with the included darts. And it's got the shortest barrel ever, so this is gonna be really hard, but let's see what we can do. I'm aiming for the dot in the center of the silhouette. This is already running away from me. As you can see, it's reasonably accurate. It's not perfect, because it definitely needs some kind of stabilization at the end, especially with the power you're getting out of this thing, but it's honestly not bad. Now I'm going to swap to the included iron sight things and see how good it is just free-handed. All right, 10 shots at the target. Goal is to get the highest score possible. I'm going to have to probably do a placement shot or two using the irons, but let's see how good this is. It seems way low, so I'm gonna aim at the top of the target. And that seems to be the ticket. Let's see. Ooh, that went way off. That's not looking great. So for those of you doubting me, I've done consistently much better at this. Whew. I'm holding it in the same spot every single time. $57. That's not great. That's a bit better. I still feel like it could be better with just a little bit of scar muzzle on it. And because we have to check, it is in fact a short Picatinny rail under the grip on the Tomcat. So you can change this grip into something else if you have a Picatinny grip that will fit on this short of a rail. Well, I hate to say it because you practically have no reason to ever buy a Dart Zone Pro Mark 1.2. The grip is super comfortable, trigger is good, drum works very well once you figure out how it's actually supposed to be loaded. Hint, look at the instructions. And while the prime is short and really stiff, it works, and honestly, the Tomcat is definitely one of the better blasters out there that you can get right now. It is a bit steep at $70, but with Target, where this thing is sold out in the US, it's gonna go on sale pretty regularly. In fact, it's already been on sale before I even got my review sample in from Dart Zone themselves. It has the option for slamfire, but the problem with this one is almost similar to the Deuce Pro. You really have to make sure you get that last little bit of prime in there, but that's a bit more forgivable with something that is this stout of a prime because it's really hard to skip it. And as long as you follow through with your pumps, it's really hard to skip a chamber. And because of the way that thing works, when it's not primed, it's got locked up because the pusher's going through the cylinder. Like, it's a really good design. It's also nice and flat. It basically looks like the AA-12, which, speaking of, I did put 50 caliber foam balls in this thing because I wanted to see if it would work like the Deuce Pro. And it kind of does. In fact, I got really excited because potentially this thing would hold 300 50 caliber foam balls, 3 shots per shot. That would be rad. It would basically turn this thing into the NERF AA-12, but unfortunately, not only do the balls sometimes spill at the end, but if you have the double stack going on, there's not a high enough wall in the cylinder, so they jump about and fall out, which is a bit of a bummer. But for darts, it works really, really well. If you wanted to run this thing like a secondary, I wouldn't blame you, because that's a lot of firepower in a compact package. And I do really like the fact that it would be so easy to make this thing work for both magazines and the included drum. That would be very important for this blaster if you wanted to run it as a primary, because once you're done with the drum, you just switch over to a mag, or just backfeed the drum, which is freaking amazing. It's exactly what I've wanted in a primary for a long time, and this blaster does it effortlessly. 50 round capacity of non-stop shooting is nothing to just ignore. It is very good. And with how quickly you can load at least the bottom 25 rounds in, that's phenomenal. Like, that is almost worth using just in itself. But the fact that it then scales up to 50 if you take the time to put the darts into the top spot, that's really hard to beat. And the power, regularly hitting over 170 FPS. Yes, at 70 bucks, it does seem pretty expensive. If it was 50, that would be a more manageable price. At 40, it would be an absolute steal. So at that, I would kind of wait to see if this goes on sale if it's a bit much for you, but if you do buy it at full price, I don't think you're going to be disappointed, because the Dart Zone Max Tomcat is just incredible. It is super fun, super solid, super powerful, and better than the blaster that costs almost twice as much of it in every single way. Sorry, Dart Zone, your other stuff is just better than your other stuff. And of all the blasters that were released this year, this one seems like the most thought out. This one seems the most solid, and if you have to buy any of them, I'm gonna recommend the Tomcat. This is a super solid recommendation. In fact, I'm gonna recommend it to pretty much anybody, because even if you have a Nexus Pro, your Nexus Pro doesn't have a 50 round drum. Your Nexus Pro isn't this compact. Your Nexus Pro doesn't have slamfire. This has all of those things, and I would take it over a Nexus Pro any day of the week, in my opinion. It might not have the mod potential that the Nexus Pro has, but it has practically everything else. And who knows what the mod, it could be this thing with a little bit of effort could hit much, much harder. My only complaint is that at these kinds of velocities, Dart Zone, we really need to have some kind of like scar barrel stabilization in there. And it would be really easy to implement on something like this. It's already an optional part that you don't need to have on the blaster. If there was just a little bit of rifling in there, this would be a much better buy because you would fix those accuracy issues this thing's having. Heck, even the sights on this thing are pretty good. I mean, I say that, I don't know exactly how you're supposed to, it's just like 4 prongs and a front post, so I guess you kind of have to put the front post somewhere in the 4 prongs, but it works. It's cool. I kind of like it. Yeah, I was a little worried, but this might be one of the best blasters of 2022 right here. This thing is super awesome. But of course, you got to let me know what you think about the Dart Zone Max Tomcat down in that comment section below. Are you going to pick one up? And if you already have one, because I know this review is a little bit late, was it worth the money? Well, that's all I've got for you. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video. And hey, chances are if you got to the end, you like what I do here. So please hit like, get subscribed, ring the bell, leave a comment, do all that algorithmic garbage to help this channel grow so you can help our hobby grow. And of course, I hope to see you in an entirely different video. And I really, really want to mod this thing and paint it. This might be better than the Conquest for me. I'm not quite sure yet.
You gotta